Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and make no mistake, Thursday, June 16th belongs to the Three Lions of England after they pull out an incredible 2-1 win over Wales in the Euro 2016. And of course, really, there's so many headlines, so many things to discuss, but of course today we've had a really nice start to the day with that match, and really that didn't disappoint at all. Gareth Bale scores a goal in the 42nd minute, goes into halftime with Wales up, and really that had been a big focal point of this match, as Gareth Bale really be talking and coming into this game with a lot of confidence, saying that Wales had every reason they were going to beat England. They had the strength, and I think a lot of people went into halftime looking and said, well, look, Gareth Bale's backing up his talk. He's had a tremendous season with Real Madrid this year, and really we've seen it carry over into Euro 2016 because he's been phenomenal. But then we finally see the thing that I think set England apart from everyone else, and that is the depth. When you have depth like they do, you have to use it. You just do. And I don't think we saw that used very smartly in their first match against Russia. Now, they played a very strong first half against Russia. The second half was not that. They did not play strong enough. And their substitutions didn't really make much sense to me. Now we look at this second match where they're coming out of the first half down a goal to Wales, and Wales had a lot of confidence because of Gareth Bale and everything that he had been saying, but the right substitutions were made. Jamie Vardy, we saw, incredible, and then Daniel Sturridge, incredible as well. The two of them scoring the goals. Two guys off the bench who make an instant impact like that. And I'll be honest, if you look across England's roster, the two of them were the most visible, making an impact that I've seen. Wayne Rooney, I don't think he's played particularly well. Raheem Sterling missed a tremendous chance early to put England up 1-0 in that game. So he's missed some opportunities. Wayne Rooney's missed some opportunities. I think largely even Harry Kane got subbed off in this game. And Harry Kane hasn't been that great either. So the guys that you would have expected to really be carrying a big mantle for England haven't really done so. And then you see Vardy, who Vardy was just as good as it gets this year. You can't be Leicester City 5,000 to 1 odds to win the title and win it as a fluke. Jamie Vardy is a crucial reason they were able to win the title, and I think he really didn't get as much respect as he probably deserved. But look, I mean, he's the reason he leveled this game 1-1 at the 56th minute, and then Sturridge finished the job late in added time. But it's one of those things where when we look at it, the depth is what you have to find what sets you apart from other people. I think England has a very strong cast of talent, but especially off the bench, not a lot of people can bring a Jamie Vardy off the bench. Not a lot of people have those kind of options where they could bring a young talent like a Marcus Rashford, who scored in international competitions, one of the youngest people we've ever seen do it. I think it's good for his confidence that he got to see some action today as well. But it was a very good win for England. It definitely sets them up and makes their next game against Slovakia much, much easier, because if they walked out of this one with another draw after the game against Russia, I think the confidence of the team is really shaken. But I think the reason I felt after the Russia game why they were still going to be okay is because it's that thing I've been reiterating. It's depth. They have depth that many people don't have. Not a lot of people have the same opportunities that they do to bring off a Vardy or a Sturridge, and they do, and that's the reason they won the match. They won the match behind their depth. That's just as simple as it can be. Wales didn't have that kind of depth. Really, I think a lot of times they played better than what their collective talent is, especially with Gareth Bale being such a focal point of that team. But it was a great win for the Three Lions. Right now they find themselves in position leading Group B with 4 points in their next one against Slovakia. I don't think that there's going to be too much pressure there with them, but certainly the guys like Raheem Sterling and Rooney, they've got to really, and especially Harry Kane, they've got to play better, because Jamie Vardy just off the bench like that, instant impact. Sturridge off the bench like that, instant impact. They've been the best players on England, and largely this is the first action we've really seen of them. So that's something that really you want to look out for. But I think the next one to go to is, of course, France, pulling like England, kind of waiting until the very end of the match to pull off the heroics, but nonetheless, they do find the heroics and they win 2-0 against Albania. And very interesting implications come into this match. Paul Pogba, really one of the stars of Euro 2016, isn't in the starting lineup, and it's the same thing with Antoine Griezmann, who again one of the stars of France, not in the starting lineup. And it was not a pretty first half. We didn't get a goal from France until the 90th minute from Griezmann, and of course Payet, who to me, Dimitri Payet has been unquestionably the best player of Euro 2016 so far. I don't think it's really that close. We've seen a lot of individual collective players playing very well, but I think in the first two matches that we've seen, I don't think anyone has brought and delivered the same performance like a Payet has. He has orchestrated France perfectly. His touch with the ball has been incredible. He's putting everyone in such tremendous opportunities. I mean, Olivier Giroud had some great chances in the first match and some great chances in the second match. He was able to score one of those in the first, wasn't able to come down with one of them in the second. That's one of the things that still I think has to concern you about France a little bit is they do win their first two. They're, of course, going to advance to the next stage, so that takes a lot of pressure off of them in their third match of Group A. But I think still you look at them and they're missing way too many chances. Payet is creating them left and right, but they're not coming away with them at all times, and that's going to hurt them as they get further in this competition and you're facing better and better teams. You've got to come down and put away those opportunities, and I think it helps immensely that Payet has been so consistent setting them up. It's just coming down to Giroud and other guys getting a better touch with it and finishing it what Payet is setting up. But I think if you've watched, I don't think there's any doubt how good Payet has been and what he has done for France in this competition. But you look at them and they definitely seem like they're settled now, and moving forward, I don't think that they're going to be too much trouble. As long as Payet keeps doing what he's doing. Pogba came off the bench, but Pogba definitely looked much sharper when he did come off the bench. You really couldn't see him do too much, and again, even him, the missed opportunities thing, he did have some nice chances in that game, couldn't put anything down with them, but still, Pogba, I think you see it, that impact that he made off the bench. The man, though, for France, though, has been Dimitri Payet, and as Payet goes, I think France goes, and he has looked very sharp so far. And then I think the next one you have to go to, because we will get to watch them tomorrow morning, and it's awesome, because we had England this morning, and then tomorrow morning on Friday we get Italy, so it's been a nice little balance of some great matches to wake up early for. But Italy, they get it done 2-0 against Belgium in their first win. And if there was a traditional powerhouse that we came into this tournament being down on, it was Italy. And I think the biggest thing was where are they going to get the goal scoring from. We know how well they defend. We know it's going to be they're going to make it a nightmare for people because of how good defensively they are. But can they get the goals? And obviously they did get the goals. And I think it's one of those things where when you put so much pressure on another opponent defensively and your tactics are so different, that is going to make it a little bit easier for them to score. And I think when you have guys like they do, especially that back line who are so good with the ball, getting the ball up to the strikers. I mean, Bonucci had some lasers that he was feeding to the attacking players, and it just made their job so much easier. But I think unquestionably, you have to be connected to do something special in a tournament like this. You all have to be connected, and I think you saw it so easily how much Gianluigi Buffon impacts that group, how much he just really means so much, and his experience. He really is a legend, the best goal scorer in the world for so long, and he has carried his veteran presence into that club. And for a lot of those younger Italian players, I think that means so much. And when you have a Chiellini and a Bonucci, I mean, you have a lot of Juventus guys who've done a lot of winning during their careers, controlling that, and I think they lead by example. In that Italian side, when you bring as strong a defense as they do, it's going to create a lot of problems. And Belgium is a side oozing with talent, as we've seen, but you see kind of the difference there. Does Italy have the same level of talent as Belgium? I would argue no, they don't. Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne. We know we had no Vincent Kompany, which is a big loss for them, but there's a lot of talent on that team. But defensively, Italy's better. And connected wise, Italy, you could just see they just had a connection on the pitch at all times with all the players. Belgium, you could see the frustration on Hazard's face. You can see it on De Bruyne's face. You could see a little bit of the animosity building and growing on that side. And it just goes to show you, you've got to have that connection. If you don't have that connection, your players are not going to be able to succeed together. I think that's one of the biggest reasons we've seen for Italy's success. And they go on tomorrow morning to play Sweden, and Sweden is one of those things where they get a draw their first match against Northern Ireland, and I think now you look at it, and really it is a one-man show. With a lot of these teams, I think you look at the one focal player who's really, really one of the best players in the world hierarchy. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, of course, one of those guys, but even with him, I don't think he particularly had the strongest performance in their first match. And when you look at Italy defensively, I just think Italy's going to make it a nightmare for Sweden, and I think this is another match that looks very favorable in Italy's favor, because they put so much pressure on you defensively, and then they're going to get their looks eventually on offense. And as long as you're able to have guys in the back line who are going to be able to give you precise passes when you have good opportunities, I think those opportunities will present themselves. And we saw for Italy in their first game against Belgium. I think we see for Italy again in their second game against Sweden. I look at it, I think it's very favorable for the Italians, and they're going to continue to roll in their Group E. But I think that is it for now. Enough talk about Euro 2016. We have a couple more matches to finish up, but it has been a tremendous one so far. It's been a tremendous start. The stars have come to play, and when you're trying to get people attracted to something, and as if Euro 2016 wasn't attractable enough, all of the stars really have come to play, and we have not had really any array of bad matches, but we'll just continue to watch and enjoy. Until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll see everybody next time.